Thank you for watching and welcome back. If you're new here, then be sure to subscribe and join the community. On today's episode, we will be reading from a user. This is The Last Tenant. Let me know if you like this format better. As always, if you want to submit your story, use the link below. I want to thank our supporters. Your support helps us continue to grow and make more paranormal videos. Daniel Ross never thought of himself as lucky, but when he stumbled upon a two-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city at half the price of anything else he had seen, he felt fortune had finally smiled on him. The building was old-built in the 1940s with faded red bricks, narrow hallways and a single creaking elevator. Its name carved into the weathered stone arch above the entrance. Read the Marlowe. The landlord, a thin man with hollow eyes and nicotine-stained fingers, barely spoke when Daniel signed the lease. "Rent's cheap because tenants don't stay long," he muttered, sliding the keys across the table. "They move out fast. You'll see why." Daniel laughed nervously, assuming it was just a bad joke to scare newcomers. He should have listened. The neighbors. On his first night, Daniel wandered the halls, curious about who lived around him. He met only two neighbors. Mrs. Keene, an elderly woman in 3B who clutched her rosary beads so tight her knuckles were white. She warned him not to open his windows after midnight. Eddie, a gaunt young man from 5C who never made eye contact. "If you hear the walls breathe, don't touch them, ever." Daniel brushed it off as eccentric city behavior. Old buildings creak, pipes groan, neighbors say weird things. That's life. But that night, as he lay in bed, he swore he heard a faint sighing sound behind the plaster, like someone exhaling right beside his head. The disappearances. 3 weeks in, Daniel noticed people moving out fast. He saw moving trucks at least twice a week. The landlord never seemed to show the units to anyone, yet the building never felt emptier. One morning, he ran into Eddie in the stairwell. "Another tenant gone?" Daniel asked casually. Eddie's eyes darted left and right before he leaned in. "They didn't leave the building. Took them." Daniel chuckled, ready to dismiss him, but Eddie grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "You'll see," Eddie hissed. "The Marlowe feeds, and once it chooses you, there's no running." First sign that night, Daniel woke to a wet sound like someone dragging something heavy across the floor. He checked his apartment, but everything was still. Then he noticed the wall by his bed. It was pulsing. The faded wallpaper rose and fell as though the building itself was breathing. When he pressed his hand against it, it was warm, soft, almost like flesh. The moment he pulled away, the wall shivered. Way that changed. A week later, Daniel returned from work past midnight. But the hallway to his apartment wasn't the same. It had stretched lights flickered, and the door numbers were wrong, skipping from 4A to 6B, then back to 2C. No matter how far he walked, he couldn't find his own unit. The walls on either side seemed closer, pressing in, groaning with each step he took. He turned back in panic and, suddenly, his apartment door was right behind him. Both in the basement. Determined to understand what was happening, Daniel broke into the basement one evening. The stench hit him first rat mold and something metallic, like old blood. The concrete floor was slick, stained dark in patches that had no business being there. Then he saw them. Dozens of doors lined the basement walls. Doors that shouldn't exist because they didn't lead to apartments. Each had a number carved into it. Some glowed faintly with heat. Others thudded softly, like something inside was knocking, trying to get out. He backed away, horrified, when he noticed something carved into the far wall, the Marlowe feeds, and beneath it, a smear of dried handprints. Vanishing. By now, the building had stopped pretending. Daniel heard screams at night, muffled, as if coming from inside the walls. He saw shadows moving under his floorboards. Once, he swore he saw an entire hand push out of the plaster, fingers stretching toward him before melting back inside. Neighbors disappeared daily. Mrs. Keene's rosary beads were found dangling from a doorknob, but her apartment was empty, furniture gone. Eddie vanished next, leaving behind only a blood-stained sneaker in the stairwell. Daniel packed his things. He had to leave. But when he tried the front door, the lobby wasn't there anymore. It was a hallway. Endless. The last tenant. Days turned to nights, but Daniel couldn't tell anymore. The Marlowe twisted its corridors, reshaped its floors, kept him trapped like a rat in a maze. His food ran out, his phone lost signal. The building whispered to him constantly, now groans through the walls, sighs in the vents, giggles from behind the ceiling. It was alive, and it was starving. On his final night, Daniel sat in his apartment, staring at the walls as they pulsed. The wallpaper peeled back like skin, revealing something red and wet beneath. He screamed, tried to run, but the floor buckled under his feet, opening into a gaping maw of splintered wood and writhing pipes that looked like veins. The Marlowe swallowed him whole. By morning, apartment 4D was vacant again. The landlord posted the listing online that same day. Spacious, affordable unit. Marvin ready. Perfect for new tenants. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please remember to share and subscribe for more stories just like this one.